ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to have here group discussion. So, as I have told you yesterday, that we are going to have a group discussion over a particular very hot topic in news is Russia and Ukraine conflict. And I want you all to join the session and give your opinion, exchange opinion, because this is to just express your opinion and to build your opinion as well. Everybody join. All of you, please join. Okay. Uh, Today we are going to have a discussion over a very important topic, which is Russia and Ukraine conflict, and this is definitely gonna ask you in your SSB interview. It may come as a GD group discussion, or in interview they might ask you. Arpit, Jai Hind. Shraddha, good morning, Jai Hind. Mukul, Jai Hind. Jai Hind, Keshav. Hmm. Gautam, Jai Hind. So, please everybody join soon. So I want to give you one a small introduction about the topic. Now, recently you are seeing that Russia has deployed its army over the borders of Ukraine, and yesterday there was a press release by Indian government to the people or the students who have gone to Ukraine for study to just come back to India and escape that place. Okay, Pavan, good morning. Ritesh, Jai Hind, good morning, Jai Hind, everybody. So this is one of the indication that there are disturbances. Definitely, we can see that through satellites image. But now we are here to discuss that what is the motive behind doing so, and who are the actually key player in all these things. Also, yesterday there was one statement released by the Defense Ministry of Russia saying that they have taken back few of their armed forces persons and their armaments. Also, they have said that this has been deployed from the perspective of doing the practice, military practice, and now we are taking back a few of our personal armaments and people because we have actually reached to the end. Shivansh, Jai Hind. So, this is clearly in the news that Russia has deployed and Russia is going to wage a war against Ukraine. Now, let us understand the geography of these two countries. As I have shown you map here. Here we see Black Sea. Here you see Ukraine. Here you see Russia, and this way is Europe and EU, European Union. So I hope that you all have done your research and has actually searched for this particular topic, because this is really very important topic from the perspective of group discussion and interview questions. Now I would like to quote few very common points which are the cultural similarity between Russia and Ukraine. Definitely cultural similarity would be there because before 1991 Ukraine was part of Russia and Soviet Union. So, for an outsider, it's really difficult to figure out that who is figure out between the culture of Ukraine and Russia. It almost looks similar until unless you dig more, until unless you figure out more, or until unless you try to understand and have a thorough research over their cultures. Since they were in one team before, so definitely their cultures must be same. But here are few things which I want to tell you. There are, as in every country, it happens that if some country is being parted from the another country, it is treated as a always a substituted or a secondary country, and it is always in a notion of the primary country or the bigger country that this is something they have done out of their own mercy, okay, or out of their own kindness. So they take it as a granted thing. Now, there are few parts in Ukraine, eastern Ukraine basically, wherein the people are in support of Russia because, as I have told you, that this is the border which Ukraine and Russia shares, and in every country, the border sharing states in the border sharing part where people reside are the people who actually are from both the countries or can speak both the languages and in support of the bordering countries they are more. So basically there are various points in discussing the strategic movement of this Russia, but yes, uh, geopolitically I have explained you everything. Now I want you all to express your opinion over this particular topic, which is Russia Ukraine topic. Please everybody start. What do you think? What is the motive of Russia to invade Ukraine or to attack Ukraine? What could be the reasons? And who are the key players in the world who are actually taking interest for their own motive and can mitigate the topic? Please share your opinion so that we can enlighten even the people who have no knowledge about this particular thing. So as you can see, here is Bulgaria, Georgia, Turkey, Black Sea, Romania, Moldova, and also I want to tell you one more thing. History में शायद आप लोग ज़्यादा ना आपको पता हो कि पहले कुछ साल पहले between Russia and Ukraine, there was a treaty of leasing out the naval port of Ukraine to Russia in terms of reducing the natural gas prices by 30% and delivering it to Ukraine. So there has been always an influence of Russia over Ukraine, and they always had this motive of controlling, be that army or navy or anything the Ukraine is having. So Mukul says Russia is doing this because Russia's population is decreasing, threat of NATO, cession of America, and indecisive president of America. Mukul, please elaborate this thing. The people who have basic knowledge will not understand what you want to say. Sushant, Russia wants USSR back. Okay. So Sayukta says to counter the increasing influence of NATO. Okay, why NATO is the one thing for which Russia is threatening to? Russia doesn't want that Ukraine become member of NATO. Yes, now Ukraine is developing its relations with NATO. I won't say a good member or the complete member, but yes, now Ukraine is developing its relations with NATO. And recently, I want to quote one fact. Recently, while Russia deployed its army in Ukrainian borders, NATO was the one to go and mediate between them. And after this, NATO president released a statement in the press, said that there is no conclusion of mediating the meeting between Russia and Ukraine, as Russia does not want to come in any terms with not waging a war against Ukraine. Okay. So Pawan says before 1991, Ukraine was part of USSR, and now Ukraine want to become part of NATO. That was the reason of conflict. पवन आपको थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ेगा आई मीन अगर नाटो का पार्ट बनना है तो रशिया को कैसे प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, क्या अदर पर्सपेक्टिव्स हो सकते हैं इस चीज के, सिर्फ इतनी बात नहीं है कि रशिया को एक्सपैंड करना है, देयर आर मेनी मोर थिंग्स देन दिस. श्रद्धा से रशिया डोंट वांट टू वांट दैट यूक्रेन विल बी द मेंबर ऑफ नाटो. सिर्फ इसके लिए क्या कोई कंट्री किसी पे हमला कर सकती है? देयर कुड बी मोर रीजंस. प्लीज, सिर्फ नाटो का मेंबर ना बने या फिर उसको रोकने के लिए none of the countries will actually start war against another. There are something more. As per the move by Russia is wrong, as Ukraine was a free country in 1918 and it was then captured Okay, so 1918 and it was then captured by USSR and now in 1991 it again got parted, so Ukraine can't be considered Russia substitute part. Gautam, this is what you think, but think from the perspective of Russia, like India and Pakistan. Yuvraj, NATO is having a bad relations with Russia, Sushant, and America and NATO given Russia a reason to invade Ukraine. जी नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं सुशांत you have to dig a bit more as NATO countries are always on the opposite side of Russia. Yes, because of influence of America more into this particular organizations. Pratiksha, if Ukraine become part of NATO, then Russia has its own security threat because US. आप सब NATO की बात कर रहे हो, but nobody is talking about geographical indications and geographical benefits. किसी एक ने बोला था कि रशिया की जो पॉपुलेशंस है वो काफी मतलब कम हो रही है, राइट? एक बात आप लोग इसको जोग्राफिकली देखने की कोशिश करो कि यूक्रेन जो है इट हैज डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट, ये इस ऐसी स्ट्रेटेजिक लोकेशन पे है कि इट हैज डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट एंड डायरेक्ट वे टू यूरोपियन यूनियंस, जो भी कंट्रीज विच आर द पार्ट ऑफ यूरोपियन यूनियंस, यूक्रेन उससे रशिया को जोड़ता है। दूसरी चीज, politics is the one thing which Putin is actually targeting nowadays. Since in Ukraine as well, you will find three categories of people. The one category is who are pro-NATO people. The one category is which support or which actually have vocals for the locals thing, and one category is which are for the pro-Russians. So basically, to rule everybody and to come again in the power, you must be having this patriotic thing in the mind of people that we are doing an invasion with the perspective of trying to spreading out the reign or region. It's not that they don't want something as a country. They want to spread themselves to show people, to show the actually people of that country that this is done with the perspective of expansion. Ma'am, due to CATSA, Russia economy is shrinking and decreased population cannot manage by migration. So he attacks Ukraine to increase its population. देखो कहीं भी if you want to attack, the main perspective is not to increase population, but the main perspective is to reach out the world, which is actually not achieved till yet. Okay, so Russia definitely, और दूसरी चीज ये भी है कि America has been always in a support of the freedom of Ukraine. तो always जहाँ पे America is involved, Russia is little bit pro to America. They are always opposite to each other. And for the liberation of Ukraine, America has played very important role, and America definitely has helped Ukraine multiple times to develop its relation in the NATO form, as well as helping Ukraine in different kind of weapon exercise programs as well. So basically, the problem is that Russia does not want the interference of America in the Ukraine matter, and along with that, now America has also started taking interest in Ukraine. Russia want Ukraine back in their power. देखो दीपेश, बहुत कुछ सिक्योरिटी नहीं है, बहुत कुछ रीजन ये है कि हमें अपना एक्सपेंशन करना है और हमें यूरोपियन यूनियंस तक अपनी पहुंच बनानी है, और एक बार अगर यूक्रेन को रशिया ओवर पार कर लेता है, डेफिनेटली अमेरिका का इन्फ्लुएंस उनके बॉर्डर लाइन तक कम हो जाएगा. सो बेसिकली इट इज टू कट अमेरिका फ्रॉम देयर कंट्री. या इवन प्रतीक्षा, आपका भी ये बहुत सही पॉइंट्स है कि रशिया गेट अप्रोच इन ब्लैक सी थ्रू यूक्रेन, क्रीमिया पेनिनसुला, डेफिनेटली. सो ये भी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है. Yes, Ukraine is the largest wheat supplier in Europe. This helps Russia to increase economy. And Europe में majority of the countries are in favor of, I think, America. So basically, to cut down these things, to किसी की अगर आपको पॉपुलैरिटी कम करनी है तो डेफिनेटली आपको उसे कहीं ना कहीं इन्फ्लुएंस करना पड़ेगा. Yes, definitely. So it is a kind of, युवराज अब आप सही सोच रहे हो, definitely it is a kind of indirect attack over America, and this is done with the perspective of damaging America. Okay. Nabuluri Sai is saying Ukraine, since its formation, has been trying to keep good relations with Western countries, and if Ukraine becomes a member of NATO, it would bring Russia in weaker position. आयुष, रशिया वांट नाटो. देखो, यूक्रेन की एक बात और अच्छी है कि यूक्रेन जिन कंट्री से बॉर्डर शेयर करता है, दोज आर द वेरी गुड कंट्रीज. जैसे हो गई यहाँ पे पोलैंड हो गया, उधर फिर जर्मनी आ जाएगा, फिर बेलारूस हो गया, इधर रशिया तो है ही, इधर ब्लैक सी है, टर्की है ना. तो ये जो जोग्राफिकल इंडिकेशंस के थ्रू में भी देखा जाए तो काफी एडवांस स्ट्रेटजीज में है यूक्रेन. यस, this nuclear weapon wala point is also good, Ayush. Yes, Sushant. If USA and EU imposes heavy sanctions, then the greed of occupied Ukraine will not help Russia much. Definitely, definitely. और आप देख रहे होंगे कि यूक्रेन बहुत पहले से इट वांटेड टू जॉइन यूरोपियन यूनियन. कई बार प्रोटेस्ट हुए हैं यूक्रेन में टू जॉइन यूरोपियन यूनियन, एंड दिस वुड डेफिनेटली पुट Russia down, and then this will hit definitely their ego. और अभी आप जो वहां का प्रेसिडेंट है जेनले कुछ ऐसे करके जिनका नाम है, उनका भी आप स्टेटमेंट देख रहे हो. सो दे आर आल्सो नॉट गिविंग अप. The crisis also is China to Russia and affect India's relation with Russia. This crisis also closes China to Russia and affect. Pratiksha, can you explain this little? और अगर आप वहां पे प्लेबिसाइड भी कंडक्ट कराओ ना, तो यू विल फाइंड कि वहां के ज्यादातर लोग जो होते हैं, दे वांट टू जॉइन यूरोपियन यूनियन एंड दे हैव मोर इंटरेस्ट टुवर्ड्स जॉइनिंग नाटो. या जेलेंस्की, राइट. हेलो कामिनी, गुड मॉर्निंग. प्रतीक्षा, अपना ये जो क्राइसिस क्लोजेस चाइना टू रशिया, ये वाला जो पॉइंट है, कैन यू एक्सप्लेन अ बिट? बेसिकली क्रीमिया एंड ईस्टर्न यूरोपियन जो यूक्रेन जो लोग प्लेसेस हैं, वहां पे मेजॉरिटी पीपल आर रशियन स्पीकिंग एंड रशियन सपोर्ट वाले लोग हैं. सो दिस हैज आल्सो पॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएंस एज वेल, क्योंकि another reason for Russia wanting to capture Ukraine is due to natural gas. Yes, yes, natural gas is one of the best reasons. Definitely, there is always money involved in any kind of political influence decisions. रेफरेंडम की भी बात किया जाए तो क्रीमिया के लोग जो हैं, क्रीमिया साइड के जो ज्यादा लोग हैं, वो कहते हैं दे वांट टू गो बैक टू रशिया. ठीक है, तो देयर इज अ वेरी मच डिस्पैरिटी इन द पीपल ओपिनियन. few of the people want to join Russia, few people want to get a handshake with European unions. Okay, Ukraine has disputes over Donbass region where majority population are of Russian origin, definitely, and Russian funds activities and activists in that region. So that yes, definitely, this is the eastern part. Now, Sai Pranav, this is the eastern part of Ukraine. जिसकी आप बात कर रहे हो. Russia intervention are supported by China, so these are also encouraged the Russia administration to take over Ukraine. That is something which we are anticipating. Yes, definitely USA has predicted that on 16th Russia is going to attack over Ukraine. Something big का मतलब यही है कि they are going to attack over Ukraine. और अब इंडिया का ये बोलना कि जो भी स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनको वापस बुला लेना is definitely a sign. And you know one bad thing is that जो ये यहाँ पे जितने rebellions हैं which want to take over to the Russia over their territory. So Russia is also providing them armed helps and they are training these rebellious group against Ukraine. So this is also being practiced by Russia since while. एक बार एयर फोर्सेस का भी कुछ क्राइसिस हुआ था जिसमें द प्लेन रशियन प्लेन हैज बीन शॉट डाउन बाय द यूक्रेनियन गवर्नमेंट. तो तो उसके बाद काफी डिस्टरबेंसेस हुए थे. सो दैट इफ यू डिग टू द हिस्ट्री यू विल सी दैट. Okay, Mayan. So, if you see the history of Ukraine and Russia, you will see that they have never been in a very peace. है ना, हमेशा से कुछ ना कुछ डिस्टरबेंसेस रहे हैं. और काफी बार मल्टीपल टाइम्स देयर वाज सीज फायर वायलेशन एज वेल. ठीक है, 2014 में देयर वर सो मेनी डिस्टरबेंसेस बिटवीन रशिया एंड यूक्रेन. सो द बेस्ट थिंग व्हिच देखो the now let's discuss the Ukraine's perspective from this particular scenario. So what Ukraine want from Russia जिसकी वजह से काफी disturbances हुए हैं. The first thing which Ukraine wanted from Russia was that कि Russia अपना जो ये cease fire है उसको properly follow करे. The second thing which wanted Ukraine from the Russia was that कि जो उनका political है, जो उनका पार्लियामेंट है उसमें इन्फ्लुएंस रशिया का कम हो. एंड द थर्ड थिंग व्हिच यूक्रेन वांटेड फ्रॉम रशिया वाज दैट कि रशिया कोशिश मतलब ज्यादा से ज्यादा जो अपने जो वेपन है, जो ट्रेनिंग है. सो इट्स काइंड ऑफ ट्रेनिंग. देखो सपोज इफ समबडी इज मेड पीएम और यूक्रेनियन पर्सपेक्टिव से अगर देखा जाए तो द पीपल हु आर सपोर्टिंग रशिया आर मोर ओवर काइंड ऑफ द पीपल हु आर रिबेलियस और द टेररिस्ट काइंड ऑफ पीपल. ओके, तो उसके लिए रशिया इज ट्रेनिंग देम, शेल्टरिंग देम, गिविंग देम वेपन. तो ये सारी चीजें जो थी यूक्रेन ऑलवेज वांटेड दिस टू followed by the Russia, but this is being not followed by the Russia in the last past days. China is putting Russia in front as it is as it attack Ukraine, as nobody is defending Ukraine like this. China will invade Taiwan. देखो ताइवान और चाइना का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अलग है. डू नॉट ब्रिंग इट हियर. ठीक है, और रशिया इज नॉट अ फूल कंट्री जो चाइना के प्रोवोक करने से यूक्रेन पे हमला कर रही है. डेफिनेटली बहुत पहले से ये सारी चीजें चल रही हैं. Russia make a good bond with China, so these reasons Russia not fear of sanction from Western country. Ukraine people also not united. Definitely, definitely. देखो इंडिया इज अफेक्टेड बाय दिस. देखो जैसे इजराइल और वहां का जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ था, गाजा स्ट्रिप और वेस्टर्न बैंक वाली जो स्ट्रिप का जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ था, तो डेफिनेटली उसमें इंडिया का कुछ बहुत ज्यादा इसमें अफेक्ट नहीं होगा. इंडिया का पॉइंट यहाँ पे ऐसे आएगा कि जब अमेरिका एंड रशिया दो लोग इनडायरेक्टली इन्वॉल्व होंगे किसी एक पर्टिकुलर चीज में, तो डेफिनेटली प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे आएगी which side to choose and where to support. तो सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम जो इंडिया फेस करने वाला है वो ये होने वाली है. दूसरी चीज जो इंडिया फेस करने वाला है वो ये है कि कई सारी डील्स हैं जो कि रशिया से हैं और उसके बाद हमारी अमेरिका से भी है. तो जैसे नाटो हो गया, जैसे हमारा यूएन हो गया, इन दोनों जगहों पे कहीं पे अमेरिका का इन्फ्लुएंस है तो कहीं पे रशिया इन्फ्लुएंस है. और ऐसी चीजों को देख के हमें यही लगता है कि दिस इज डेफिनेटली गोइंग टू मेक इंडिया इन अ पुट इंडिया इन अ डिलेमा. तो प्रतीक्षा, योर क्वेश्चन इज बीन आंसर्ड बाय पुटिंग इन दिस मैनर कि किसी भी दो कंट्रीज के बीच में डिस्प्यूट होने से इंडिया जब तक डायरेक्टली इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, इंडिया को सिर्फ ऐसे हार्म हो सकता है कि इंडिया को कौन सा साइड चूज करना है, इसमें प्रॉब्लम आएगी। यूक्रेन में इंडिया के काफी स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तो उन्हें ऑलरेडी खाली करने के लिए एंड कम बैक टू इंडिया का ऑर्डर दे दिया गया है, उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम्स आ सकती हैं। बिकॉज ये हमें अभी डेटा कलेक्ट करना होगा कि कितने लोग हैं, किस तरह से हम यूक्रेन हमें अफेक्ट करने वाला है या नहीं करने वाला है। उसके अलावा one side we see America and another side we see Russia, or both the countries are important from the future perspective of India becoming a leading country. तो यहाँ पे जो dilemma वाली situation आएगी, that is surely gonna मतलब put India into a confusion. Russia-US dispute is also seen in Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russia capturing Ukraine will also enhance Russia's power, and USA do not want Russia to become. Definitely, they are always in opposite countries to each other. Petroleum prices increased. World face wheat crisis because Ukraine shared 30% of. Definitely. जो भी आप बोल रहे हो ये economics के perspective से important है. But if Russia overtook Ukraine, it would be wrong example for the whole world. And it prevents the feeling of terror among the smaller countries who share border with a stronger country. Then definitely. So please suggest me the topic for the next class, as we are going to again have the group discussion, and this is the time for wind up the session. टॉपिक है जिसको हम डेफिनेटली ले सकते हैं और काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ डेवलपमेंट. ओ अभिषेक, आर यू चेस नंबर 6? China also make profit out of this because US focusing on war, then Indo-Pacific region is free. Definitely, जो reasons की बात की मैंने आपको मैप दिखा के, मैंने मैप इसीलिए आपको दिखाया था because it's known not only because the politics or only because the for the favor of the nation to get the popularity, but it is also from the development of getting स्ट्रेटेजिक बेनिफिट ओवर द अदर कंट्रीज. बहुत सारे रास्ते हैं जो रशिया के खुल जाएंगे यूक्रेन के उसके अंडर आने के बाद. एंड मोर ओवर रशिया नेवर वांटेड यूक्रेन टू बी गेट द फ्रीडम. ठीक है, सो वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस डे आफ्टर टुमारो अबाउट द बजट थिंग. ओके, fine. So the time for this is the time for winding up the session, and we will again meet tomorrow for PPT practice, and day after tomorrow, as we have decided for the topic, it is going to be the now budget of India, which is being discussed in Parliament recently. So everybody, it was really nice discussing with you all, and really it was a good platform to share knowledge and let everybody know that what could be the past perspective of one particular topic or one particular current incidents. Okay, we'll meet again tomorrow, same timing, everybody. Jai Hind. Yes, tomorrow PPT to you, Raj.